What's up, SNA Assassinators? This is Super Ninja Austin back here with another video. Sound like my boy Will Ospreay with the SNA podcast AEW Dynamite review video on January 29, 2025, bruv. And we're going to be talking about the wildest and intriguing, no, I'm talking about, the wildest and intriguing show of AEW Dynamite tonight. And I'll say more likely the intriguing side because it was a total magnificent show with all the matches were very entertaining and very well, I'll say, interestingly amazing, especially one in particular. And also, we got some build up to championships and matches that are championship and non-title matches that are on the card for AEW Grand Slam, and also some matches good for the Saturday and for the next Wednesday as well. That was announced on tonight's Dynamite. And I'll say what other thing I need to say, and what else that was on the card, and teases of a future feud and down the line after this particular wrestler's done with his program with the other guy he's beefing with on AEW, which the guy beating with could be a championship match that could be down the line in the future, and much more that was on the show. Starting things off, we got perhaps the silver trophy of the night, which that was my boy William J. Ospreay taking on Brian Cage in a match like that was probably, I'll say, completely. I'll say with the yes. Okay, can you get my? Oh my gosh, why are you making this a difficult path? Come on. But anyways, this match was probably the epitome of I'll say main event level wrestling, if that makes sense, of course. It's because we got some flips, slams, you name it. But it's where we got Will Ospreay nearly countered out of a pop-up powerbomb into a hurricane until he got brought back up. That's where Will Ospreay hits the right hand, trying to get back in the offense side, but Brian Cage sent him right into the bottom right side is where he hits the splat, clothesline actually. That's where he throws him right to the left side, but he gets kicked right to the face when Brian Cage tried to go for a running attack move onto the aerial assassin. That's where then he hits a Gary maneuver while he was in the corner until he put him right to the left side, hits a springboard forearm strike. But that's where he got Brian Cage and then pulled a Samoa Joe on him by taking a page off his playbook. And when he once he got down, like this where the machine hits the clothesline right onto Will Ospreay. You know, not that guy that looked like John Moxley that's on that Netflix movie that was on theaters a couple years ago. That's where Brian Cage tried to go for what they call the snake eyes right Ospreay's face into the ring post. But that's where it got backfired when Ospreay countered out of it, pushed him instead, hit him face first. Is where we got Powerhouse Brian Cage, Irishman right to the top corner side. This is where we got Brian Cage, then throws them, what's his name, Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay then had such amazing agility when he jumped right on top of the top onto the what they got barricade trying to go for an Oscar. That's where he ends up getting standing suplex with Brian Cage was marching around with him like if he's going around Jericho 7 times, and no, not the learning tree teacher. But that's where he hit the suplex right on the Will Ospreay. That's where then we got what they Powerhouse Hobbs, not Powerhouse Hobbs, Brian Cage. Anyways, he ran into the ring for just a second, but this is where he did it because he was trying to distract the referee, which was Rick Knox at the time, which I don't know how I remember him. Maybe it's all thanks to Fight Forever, but this is where then we got you got Lance Archer coming and attack him with what's his name? What's his name? Don Callis was hitting the weakest punches right onto Will Ospreay that I've ever seen. Like usual, this is where we got Brian Cage. Once he got back in the ring, he whacked poor Ospreay face first right onto the apron, which is the hardest part of the ring, and hit a back suplex like if he's a certain Viper. But that's where he gets a quick side hook to Don Callis. This is where we got. This is where he got in the ring. This is where we got Antonio Schiavone kind of roasted roasted, what's his name? Donald Callis, like with a little snicker I did. This where it's like, oh wow, you're like we somebody likes you, huh? And this where then he responded like with confidence. This where we got what's his name? But this is where we got what's his name? Brian Cage started spearing him and ramming him right to the midsection with the fans are chanting Osprey like when he just entered the ring. As well as one just continuing to wondering like what he's spraying, like what exactly he's spraying, like hopefully it's a green apple scent considering what Osprey was wearing, which had like a green stripish color, like along with the silver. But like I'm not sure if Febreze even have that kind of flavor yet. Maybe I'll say maybe I'll say that should be a good idea. They should consider making. But this is where then we got. This is where we got Brian Cage continuing to headlock the aerial assassin. But this is where we got Will Ospreay somehow escape out of it. But Brian Cage was not done yet. That's where he throws the aerial assassin right to the bottom right side and hit some chops, which I believe a certain general was not very happy of seeing this, like especially that being a signature maneuver. This where he hit the knife edge chop again. Stray you. No reason why you were doing it. Please don't interrupt. But anyways, assassinators. This is where we got Will Ospreay going for like a guillotine, but this is where we got Powerhouse Hobbs then going for a bear hug. But this is where we got. That's where we got. That's where we got. That's where we got. What's his name? Brian Cage. I don't understand why I'm keeping forgetting his name. But this is where he started grabbing onto his arms or twisting it side to side. This is where we got Brian Cage started going for a knife edge chop. Then Irish whip him right to the bottom corner side to the upper side. This is where we got this is where we got Will Ospreay go for a springboard flip. Hits a step up into Giri. This is where we got. This is where we got him hitting that corkscrew kick right to the head of Brian Cage, which I was starting to be happy and proud. Which some of y'all probably say, why is that? But it's still kind of my signature move that I usually use on Fight Forever and 2K24. But this is where we got Will Ospreay hits him right hands right to the face. This is where we got right to the face of Will Ospreay. This is where he gets right to the bottom corner side. This is where Brian Cage bows his head, which was a big mistake because Will Ospreay hits a big kick right to the head of Brian. This is where he went right up in the middle rope, but he ended up getting hit with a common carry, something that looked very, I'll say, impressively amazing from a man that probably weighs about 300 pounds. Like Ospreay went escaping right to the top corner side, hits it into gear, knocking down the machine. That's where we got Ospreay hit the springboard elbow strike. It looked like a certain forearm springboard maneuver that's very phenomenal. But this is where we got. But once he tried to go for a pin, he only gets a kick out at 2.7. Here's where then Will Ospreay's like, what am I missing here? But here's where before he can even figure that out, this is where he throws Brian Cage right to the right side. Here's where Will Ospreay runs right to the left side, go to the cartwheel flip right to a moonsault, knocking down Brian Cage in the process. Here's where we got Ospreay's like, oh, my ribs. Like, yeah, like this job is not easy, like everybody claims to be. And this where then Will Ospreay then picks him right back up. This where then we got Ospreay's like, no, we can. But this where we got, what was it? But this is where we got Brian Cage brought back in the ring. This is where he hits the avalanche suplex right into the side, boy. This is where he tried to go for a pin, but this is where it ends up getting. This is where he go for a pin, but this is where he gets immediately kicked out at 2.7, was it? But this is where we got Brian Cage then gets not with a kick out at 2.7 or 8, was it? This is where he was about to hit the F10, but this is where somehow Will Ospreay counters out of it and nearly hits the world's most enchanting, I'll say, Hurricane Rana in all of professional wrestling, but this is where he gets flipped right over once Brian Cage was going by the super kick right in the face. But that's where he gets hit with a sideways super kick with him going underneath his arm and kick. That's where Will Ospreay tried to go for an ass cutter, but it didn't work this time. But I'm going to talk about that just more. But that's where he hits a disc. That's where then he hits a discus elbow along with a discus clothesline and a discus power liger bomb onto Will Ospreay. But somehow Ospreay kicked out at 2.8. That's where then then even what's the name? The father of Hook Taz even said that this was a very impressive kick out, and this guy himself is doing some very impressive stuff in general. But that's where Brian Cage then hits a very very dangerous, what they call the Avalanche F10 in all the professional wrestling. And it was indeed the guaranteed, even though it was off the Avalanche, but it didn't even matter because it came from right at that. Because, like, if he was trying to hit the move in the first place, then he got a guaranteed he could do it anywhere in the ring unless he's double cursed. But that's where once he tried to go for a pin and once Will Ospreay gets the foot up, that's where we got, what's his name, this is where Lance Archer put his foot right, took his foot right off the ropes. This is where Rick Knox pointed out that, hey, I saw what you did. Like you better not do it again, or else you're gonna be going head back into your locker room or wherever place you and your Donald Cow's family members call y'all's room. This is where Will Ospreay then counters out of the big devastating powerbomb. Hurricane Rollins him right to his Don Callis family brother member, or his brother from the Don Callis family member, or Don Callis family faction. Is where Will Ospreay hits the Clash, the Os Clash, whatever everyone calls it, his version of Styles Clash for the 1, 2, 3. Winner of this match, Will Ospreay. This is where we got Brian Cage going up and attacks, what's his name? This is where we got, what's his name, Lance Archer. Got attacks Will Ospreay right into the corner. Or not quite right in the middle. This is where we got, that's where they got Brian Cage and Lance Archer then go for a double Irish whip clothesline right onto the aerial assassin, just doing a 2-on-1 beatdown until Kenny Omega came in, and then just beating them with chairs until we got, unfortunately, Kyle Fletcher and what's his name? What's his name? What's his name? Kyle Fletcher and what's his name? All right, finished him off by hitting the brain double. No, not brain. But Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita did tombstone pile drivers at the exact same time, which had me shouting, "They're not the Undertaker!" Like, how could they? But anyways, yeah. But what are your thoughts onto this 4-on-1 situation? Do you think this is going to lead into Pals Hobbs? But this where, like, before they left the ring, this where like they're about to attack Kenny Omega with steel chair, but luckily Will Ospreay was there to become his human shield, even though they had some differences behind. But it's like the Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes kind of feud, which I'm not going to talk too much about them. But it's with two former arch enemies, like in two different paths, like coming together, joining forces, pulling the Superman and Batman and Goku and Vegeta, like of the Justice League, and Dragon Ball Z, like two biggest, like I say, rivals, like turn to biggest allies. I guess you could say, even though it don't rhyme, but it's true. But what are your thoughts onto this? And do you think that we can see like the murder machine, whatever they call themselves, or the monster machine, or whatever they call them, the monster machine or the machine, whatever they call, like this is where then this is where they stand up tall off the lifeless bodies of Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega. And what are your thoughts onto this segment? Do you think that we're going to see in the next week? We can see Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega will be going going 2-on-2 against the, against these guys, like, and then they're gonna do their power to take them out, so they don't have to worry about them at Grand Slam when they're both facing the likes of Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita. And and I think when they do win, more likely to win, like we could see them take out Donald Callis and like finally finally finish them off for good, and finally put this nightmare to rest. But next, what are your thoughts on the match in general? Do you think it deserved a silver trophy between Will Ospreay and Brian Cage? Let me know down in the comments. But let's move. But let's move on to the next slide. This is where we got Renee Paquette was trying to get the word in for Hangman Adam Page. This where then this where then This is where then we got Renee Paquette was trying to knock on Swerve's locker room door. This is where he was not nowhere to be found, because we knew this because Hangman Adam Page barged in without any hesitations. This is where then we got this is where we got Hangman Adam Page was. Well, this is where no. This is where then what's his name? This is where then what happened? It was. Here's where Renee Paquette was trying to ask Hangman Adam Page about him and Christopher Daniels, but he didn't answer that. He just continued trying to hunt for Swerve. That's where then we got. That's where then he ran into MJF. This is where they started staring at each other, like face to face, like teasing the feud between the two. And I'm like, and if this does happen, who's going to be the babyface? Or just going to be a rare heel versus heel kind of dynamic? But that's a different video, very different. That's where we got MJF was trying to keep it calm, because he was like saying like, man, like he can go away, he can come around here, get away with stuff, thinking he runs this place and he owns shit here. And that's where he was like, but when it comes to me, like even if I stare at somebody funny, it's all over for me. Like, what about that hypocritical son of a? And this is where I think he was referring to his boss, which he probably regrets re-signing the deal. He was, but that's where he's like, that's where then MJ said, oh, how they did like I'm like nobody like go ruin my day, Renee. Like a time gonna prove you just put I'm beautiful. It's beautiful poetry. No, it's prophecy. Like that. And I'm gonna show you why you should have made the deal with the devil rather than fight it. Because tonight, like you're gonna have to go out there on your own and face one of the most dangerous men that you have to offer. And half man, half horse, like Claudio Castagnoli. Like that's all because your narcissism. Like because you forgot to. Like you just wanted to decline my sweet offer, Jeffrey. And I'm about to give you a deal, and you cannot decline. Because how about this? Though? The last outlaws will indeed be the last ride. I don't know what I mean. I don't know what he means by saying that, but it was that great, but that cheesy smile of his, which that match ended up having to be up next. But what are your thoughts onto these future feuds for Hangman, like with the likes of Swerve and revisiting feuds, and then with a feud that should have happened probably 3 years ago, which was Hangman versus MJF, and some might say it's because of the guy that Hangman was beefing with by claiming that he was a poison in the locker room and a hypocrite, like of trying to make the locker room a much positive place when he claimed that he was making the complete opposite. But enough about him, because he moved on to the other company that they're competing against, like which he used to wrestle before, but he went back there, whatever we call it. But yeah, this is where we got this is where we move on to the next wrestling match, like on AEW Dynamite tonight. This is where we got Jeff Jarrett then came out with his guitar. This is where he amazingly, did not waste no time, hits a hip toss out of nowhere, like boom. And this is where then we got Jeff Jarrett to hit an arm drag. This is where he also did pick up this is where he picks up what's his name, like this is where we got Jeff Jarrett hits him right hand, right to the face, right into the head as well of the bald head of the Swiss cyborg. And hopefully I don't offend nobody, including my boy Simon, because he's waiting for it to grow hair yet. Just don't tell him like of a trick I'm about to do to him. Like as soon as you see us in front of a YouTube camera. But anyway, this is where we got Jeff Jarrett did the close up. But this is where we got Claudio Castagnoli didn't try to go for a neutralizer, but it did not work this time. What you say? It will work, but it won't. Now's not the time. But it's where Jeff Jarrett tried to go for a what they call it, a back body drop, but it ends up getting to a sunset flip. But once he got him into a pin, this is where Jeff Jarrett immediately flip around, hits a sharpshooter right on, or not sharpshooter, figure four leg lock. It's actually what's called. This is where we got what's his name. Kyle Castanoli hang on to the rope. This is where he's like, no, like I don't give up. This is where Jeffrey Jarrett was like, yeah, there's plenty more brutal moves where that came from. Like everybody forgot, like I'm well experienced in this game. But this is where the fans are chanting Double J because they want to see what it's like of having at least one reign as the AEW championship. And man, AEW, most specifically, Anthony Khan doing a pretty good job, not immediately just handing them a shot at the AEW World Championship. He did having them take the scenic route in order to get into the scenic route with filled with obstacles in the way, like before he gets that shot, before he can ride into the sunset, like with his final run. But that's where we got what's his name, Willa Yuta came in and tried to interfere, but luckily was the referee spotted. Said like you got to leave right now if you're going to be causing any trouble, which he nearly did. Like when him being on the apron was the closest that he got him, but once the partial power performance and all professional wrestling came on, like with the with the with the picture break. Like this is where we got Claudio was in control. This is where he hit some punch, big old right hands, European uppercuts. Then he hit the second uppercut. This is where we got. This is where Jeff Jarrett tried to hit some right hands of his own, but he keep getting kneed right to the midsection. Then he go for a swinging European uppercut. But Jeff Jarrett hits a big devastating uppercut. I mean right hand actually, right into the face onto what's his name, onto Claudio. This is where he had some right hand kicks, right strike kicks. This is where he tried to go for a ginormous swing. This is where Jeff Jarrett was going for a big right that he probably not soon to forget. But this is where we got Claudio Castagnoli to try to grab onto that knee and then start kicking it, start kneeing it, start bending it, and then turn it to the sharpshooter, trying to do more damage. But that's where Claudio's like, no, like I'm not good. That's where Jeff Jarrett hit a sharpshooter on his own, even though he don't have no kind of relations to the guy that invented the sharpshooter, which I'm not sure if I should bring him up, even though he made some appearances before, even though that was like half a decade ago. But that's where we got Willa Yuta pulling to a chair in the ring. This is where he tried to distract Jeff Jarrett. This is where Jeff Jarrett hit the big right hand by Willa Yuta. But this is where we got. That's where we got the referee was distracted with Jeff Jarrett dodging out what was Claudio was about to offer him. That's where he nearly finished him off with his finisher right after he dodged the chair shot. That's where John Moxley was sighing of irritation when he's like, did I do everything myself? That's where he managed to do so when he hits a paradigm shift. And that's what helped Claudio hits two, not one but two, I should say. What they call it, not one but two neutralizers to get the 1, 2, 3, and it wasn't guaranteed. And the third time was a charm, I guess you could say. Like the rules of professional wrestling. Like when it comes to the statistics. But that's where we saw what's her name? Marina Shafir was holding up the briefcase that had the AEW championship inside. That was taken hostage poorly and sadly, which I feel bad for the poor championship belt, which it was in that disgusting toxic water bottle that was inside as well. But that's where we did not move on to the next match or segment because this is where Jeff Jarrett was still in the ring, like getting himself back up. I'm like, it's gonna be okay because this is not over yet. Like just because MJF said what he said, like that doesn't mean it's confirmed that this was some kind of retirement match, or you're never gonna get an AEW World Championship title opportunity. Like this is only just the beginning of the next dozen tries that you're going to be getting in the foreseeable future. Like, and after all, like you just signed renew your deal, which is probably going to last for a good couple of years, is the shortest to be the exact and the maximum. So we probably, I'm not max minimum, but yeah, there's probably gonna be plenty more. But let me know in the comments when you think that, baby. But that's where then MJF came to. That's where then MJF was like, Jeff, the reason why I came out here, I just want to say, and before he can say anything, he hits him with a big old cheap shot in the right with his Dynamite diamond ring right on the pinky of his right finger. And then he kissed it. That's where MJF was like, I respect my elders, referring to Jeff Jarrett as a senior citizen. Well, we're probably just a couple years away from that, but we're not going to be. That's not the reason why we're here to talk about AEW tonight. But this is where, on the segment in particular, if I remember the phrase that MJF was like, I hate to be that guy to, I hate to say it, but I'm not going to say it that I told you so, and this is where he dropped the mic, fans start booing their loudest, because he is a prick, I guess you could call him, is the best way to describe the salt of the earth. But this kind of tease that we will be seeing this showdown on AEW Grand Slam, while John Moxley will be facing somebody else, but it's gonna be somebody that's probably gonna be confirmed for tonight. But I was like, how come they didn't show this in the first place? Like, if they want why they came out here in the first place? But that's a mystery. That's gonna be for another day. But this where I got Powerhouse Hobbs. Then was on the screen by telling Big Bill that he won't be on AEW Dynamite tonight is because he wasn't clear enough to be competing, but he promised him a challenge anytime, any place, anywhere, which they didn't really confirm, but they probably will in the foreseeable future. Maybe some just tell me it could be Grand Slam. Huh?
I'm looking for a small ball like him.
Small ball? Very difficult.
It looks like all white.
What, you want this one?
It's not all white.
Oh. Dang. Wish I could find one real quickly. But anyways, assassinators. This is where we got. This is where this is what I was thinking. This is where another AEW match, and I was like, man, Anthony Khan just knew exactly what I wanted on tonight's AEW Dynamite, huh? Because I'm gonna get into more of that, and after I review everything on AEW. And one thing I can tell you that the Bitchman was not on tonight's show. But the only thing I can say that we did not see Max Caster in his Best Wrestler Alive open challenge that he promised, from AEW Collision. But we're gonna get into that once the AEW explains, probably whether it's the week after this Dynamite, or maybe this coming Saturday on Collision. What was the reason? Maybe it's travel issues or family issues, whatever it is. I wish him the best of. I wish him all my positivity, because even guys like Max Caster that's playing an arrogant persona don't deserve to be something critical happening to him. But this is where we got. This is where Rick says that. Oh, really? You're talking about like. It's where then what's. Oh no, this where Renee Paquette was saying yeah, you. This is where Renee Paquette said Swerve's not in the building right now. And I want to ask you, what do you have that's in your chest before Swerve could possibly get see this, and he's gonna come after you. This is where Ricochet was I don't have nothing to say right now. That's not until the Saturday of Collision, but I'm gonna match against a guy that Swerve is very familiar with, and that is AR Fox. And this is where And this is where then I was like, yeah, like if I was like, and I was thinking like, if I was Mr. Ricky the Dicky here, like I would be watching my back right now because you never know where Swerve could be, like where his pair of chains is, with his pair of chains, like and he can hunt him down and just, well, hang him and just start using him as a human punching bag in the nearest gym that he normally trains and work out in. But yeah, but this way the Ricochet and let Renee know that like give like no disrespect, but I'm be doing exactly that right now. This is where when he said like he's gonna make a statement out of what's his name out of AR Fox, like to Swerve Strickland of why he should not bother someone like him. This is where we got things started with these two high flyers, which this deserves the silver trophy of the night, the silver trophy, the bronze trophy.
Can you literally take Gunner home in like 5 minutes?
Yes, sir. You're welcome. But yeah, this is where we got. What else I was saying? But this is where we got Ricochet to start going for what that punches right off the top rope. This is where he started going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is where then whoever's like, all right, stop. And this is where he's like, okay, stop. And this is where then he goes for a headlock. This is where he goes for what they call him. This is where he gets Irish whip right into the. This is where AR fights. He's thrown right to the top course. He gets shoulder tackle. This is where they start fighting, going at it. Who was gonna get brought down first? This is where AR fights just shrug emoji, like anything that brings him that gets him out of the offense side will be work perfect for me at this point. This is where he slams him right back in the ground. This is where Ricochet throws him right to the top corner side. This is where we got AR Fox then goes for leaping dodge, but it's where we got Ricochet grabbing by his leg. But it's where AR Fox had to fly into like a cutter maneuver. This is where he had the spinning suplex or brainbuster. Let me rephrase that. My apologies. Assassinators is where we got. This is where the full force cannonball senton onto the one and only Ricky the Dicky of AEW. But this is where we got. Here's where we got Ricochet that throws him right to the top corner side. This is where he started some knife edge chops right onto the chest, onto what's his name, onto Ricochet from what's his name, AR Fox. But yeah, some of y'all probably noticed what nickname I gave him. Well, I thought it was a perfect name to give him. Like we all know what he's been acting like lately. In the best way, and not trying to be too profanity here on the SNA podcast. I guess you could just say right here, like a nickname or somebody's name right here. Like, but somebody's name could be like Dixon, Dickie, or Dick, or whatever we'll call. But this is where we got Ricochet, and that's where we got hit with a clothesline. Is where he got a with that springboard moonsault right on to AR Fox. Is where he didn't. Is where he brought back in AR Fox, and this is where he started going for like a knee bend right to what's name Fox's back. This is where we got. This is where he's starting spears right to the midsection. This is where it's a forearm strike right to the face onto what's his name, Ricochet. This is where this is where Ricochet hit with a snapmare while the powerful force was on until once it got off. This is where it went to the complete opposite. As AR Fox got Ricochet into a sleeper, like a dragon sleeper, right onto the left side onto the apron. But this is where Ricochet tried to count out of it. But this is where he ends up getting hit right to a fireman's position. But this is where we got Ricochet. Then start grabbing onto the referee's shirt. This is where he tried to distract the referee. This is where then he hits the sideways face breaker. This is where then he looked like he had an actual gun, started shooting. This is where then he hits him with that sliding clothesline that he normally do. Which whether if it's a signature or finisher, but he always help him get wins. But he add more measures to the next maneuver by hitting this like sidewalk atomic drop maneuver that he normally do, and he gets the 1, 2, 3 that way. Winner of this match, Ricochet, blue ribbon of the night. And like even though, or was it blue ribbon? No, that was Jeff Jarrett against my bad bronze trophy. Like with this match was definitely like This was what the like this is like something that you would watch like any time of a match card, whether if it's on the weekly show or on the pay per view. Even if an AEW World Championship was on the line, I think they would have gotten away with this being a super tremendous match like they just did. And yeah, it's like what they say, like belts are just a prop. It's the wrestler that makes the belt relevant and must see. But this is where we got. This is where then he grabbed on a pair of scissors when he was sitting onto a bottom corner turnbuckle. We lifted him right off that section turnbuckle in the upper left side. And then this is where the commentator's like, where the hell he got that from? This is where the other one of them, while the other one said like he he got off the turnbuckle. This is where we got Swerve Sugar came in before he can make his longtime best friend of next victim. This is where then Ricochet, then Swerve Sugar got him in the scratch and started throwing him right to Barry's tombstone. This is where he nearly had him with the Swerve stomp, but this is where Ricochet would still having a pair of scissors with his I'll say his with that with his sinister psychotic self nearly start trying to stab what's his name and start threatening to stab his friend AR Fox by saying like you better not jump. If you jump, I'm gonna start stabbing. Like start being looking worse than the Joker would. This way start looking. This way got the scissors like I'm gonna do it. This way Swerve's like you better not. And this way then. And this way the Swerve Strickland like, all right, like I'm gonna let you go right here. Like I'm gonna let you go for 1 week, 7 days. And that's where that it will be next week when they go to Atlanta, Georgia. I was like, gee, I wonder what other wrestling company that was in that exact same city, which was probably a day or two ago. Yeah, or both. No, both the which we got from these wrestling companies like which was they were in the building in the State Farm Arena, which I'm not sure if it's gonna be at the State Farm Arena or maybe a different video building perhaps. But let me know in the comment section right down below, and let me know do you think who's gonna win that match? But before I continue, I got one thing I need to take care of before I continue. So if you excuse me, I'm gonna take care of it first, and I'll see you guys in just a moment.
Can we use your phone tonight? My phone's about to die. Can we use your phone for the movie? He's gonna come back on Friday, Trey. Trey. His parents said he had to go back. Trey, say bye to him there. They see you Friday. Trey, say bye to him there. Say I see. Bye. Tell your best friend bye. We'll see you Friday, Governor. He's gonna come back Friday, baby. Be quiet, you're gonna wake your brother up. You're gonna wake your brother up. Shh. Hey, shut it down, Phil. You had to. You see me what you always do. No, it's not. That's not supposed to be. Crazy. What you right there? You right there. So, what? You don't keep that out. That's disgusting. Why would he do that? That's what I said. No, don't do that. That's part of it. No, don't like eat it. What is this cookie KFC? And I'm trying to it looks like a little bit. That's what he's saying. Yeah, ew, babe. That's disgusting. Bro, you eat your food. That's nasty. You want me to? I'm not going to be nice if you're not being nice. Stop peeling shit off. Eat it. If you do not eat that. She's busy right now. So what you do is you put gravy on top of it. I mean, you don't. I'm gonna eat.
Okay. Okay.
Eat. Stop being disrespectful. Sorry.
But where was I? Oh yeah. But, oh yeah, and I'm starting to be a very starting to be a very huge fan of the Ricochet versus Swerve feud. Like it just has plenty of potential, and it shows that Ricochet could be a good heel, maybe even a little bit better than he was as a superhero high flying babyface. With him being a psychotic and as a sociopath heel kind of character, like he just knows how to bring some intrigue into in his character, of course. But that's where the John Moxley then claims that you don't need a championship to wave around taking selfies with. Like that's what the championship's all about, and raising it and celebrating and stuff. Oh my God, yeah, that's what pretty much everybody does these days in wrestling. Like when they become a. That's where John Moxley was going to sound more delusional, but say he wants to make 1,000 John Moxley. That'll be probably a quadruplet of what they call like a quadruple, like 1,000 quadruplet yeah, quadruple thousands of nightmares in many ways of that many reasons why there shouldn't be multiple John Moxleys. Already bad enough we got one, well, at least not at this time. At least at this time, I should say. But but yeah, this is what basically what the interview is like, we don't need the championship. What's in the briefcase? It's what's in here in our hearts. I'm like, well, that may be true, but the way you say it, like it's very, I'll say very strange. I was like, the way that he's saying it in that way, like I just don't know. But let me know in the comments below what you think. Where is he leaning in towards of this heel character of being a champion without holding the physical belt. This where we got a very funny, which I would say, I don't know who's the goofiest wrestler of the night, but Matt Menard got he was in a very funny, what they got in a very funny merchandise commercial with him in the stands, something similar to like you would see over the other channels, shows. But yeah, it's just over. And even the show with Will Ospreay pinning Excalibur, was it with the 1, 2, 3 as well, which had me dying, like with their own cards, with the AEW trading cards, if I'm mistaken. But moving on, we got this is where we got this is where we got Chris Jericho will be featuring in a wrestling movie called Dark Match. Like it is kind of like kind of reminds me like a horror flick version of Heels. Like if that makes sense, of course. But yeah, it will be in theaters this Friday, and it will be on the Shudder streaming service, like on the 31st. But that's what Chris Jericho's like, hey guys, like welcome for a new edition of New York Minute. Like, and then like this Friday night on the 31st, like, and then my Dark Match movie will be fun, violent, and what he said, like I just thought like your new movie which they advertised right into the screen. It was like yeah, make sure to check it out this Friday night. It's gonna be violent, it's gory and fun, just like the Learning Tree itself. And speaking of violent, like as we saw like last week on Collision, Big Bill took out Will Hobbs and made him and tell him about it. What was you know what you said about last week about the definition of loyalty. Like it's one of YouTube sharing of the teaching of the learning of the world. Like it's one thing, like and it's another when you put the words in action. Now, I understand your words like in a way that like I never did before. Like I feel more stronger if that's the right word to put it. Here's what Chris Jericho's like I'm glad to hear that. Like it makes me very proud of you. Like it makes me proud of what you did. Like it also makes guess what else makes me very proud of myself. And this is where he's like yeah because Chris Jericho said well, like it made me very proud of you and make me very like it also make me very proud of me as well. Like making me such a great mentor. And Bill, like yeah, take out Will Hobbs, but I told you permanently, but you didn't entirely did that. You didn't do but you got to work a little bit harder. But you did get a chance to learn this Saturday on Collision when the bad apple and I will take out the other two heathens who caused us to lose our 12-man tag match at the Maximum Carnage a couple weeks ago. And that is them goofy ass outrunners. And And that's where Chris Jericho's like, and he's like, y'all claim that y'all been on wrestling television for decades. Well, let me tell you something. Like, I don't remember seeing you. Like, I don't remember seeing you being out that long. Like, I haven't seen you television besides AEW ever. As a matter of fact, and it was like, and then this where Brian Keith and shouted like, yeah, like tell it, Chris or Joe Jericho. And this where he's like, it was like, and this where the Chris Jericho like, yeah, fair enough. And he's like, so this Saturday, Floyd and Turbo, or not, uh, yeah, Magnum and Turbo, like you're gonna be taking on the smartest man and the strongest man of the law. And then and Big Bill, I want you to make me super duper fully permanently proud, like next time. Like I really mean it. And this was like, then he told the fans goodbye and said, thanks guys, Wyndham frowning because yeah, he was not so happy that he just didn't get the full job done. But what are your thoughts on this match being announced for this Saturday between like two of probably my favorite teams and all of AEW, the Learning Tree with Chris Jericho and Brian Keith, which that's probably a perfect duo dynamic against the future AEW Tag Team Championships potentially, and the AEW World Tag Team Champion. And the future AEW World Tag Champion, that is none other than the Outrunners themselves, Turbo, Floyd, and Truth Magnum. Let me know in the comments who's going to win. And maybe it could be the Learning Tree, considering what would be the point of them challenging him, like if they can't back up their words, like for them saying that they beaten him and they end up beating him again. Unless if it's for a championship, that's a different story. But that's where we got Willa Yuta to try to go for an attack. That's where what's his name, Jay White goes for a blade went out of nowhere. This is where we got what's his name, Willa Yuta jumps out of the way. This is where he ends up going right into the left corner of the ringside area. This is where the referee's like, all right, like take it easy, Switchblade. This is where Switchblade was like, okay, like I'll do. And this is where the fans start chanting Yuta sucks, which that totally is true right now because he's the sellout and a brainwasher, which you can easily get into his brain and say something he'll probably immediately believes it, and make him drink something that, whether if it's normal or weird, it's gonna be matching that flavorful substance, like that very knowledgeable beverage, whatever that meaning is. But this is where we got Willie Unit start continuing to be a coward with my boy Switchblade. This is where it's like, oh, like, are you gonna come in the ring with the switchblade and be a man, or gonna be a little sissy and try to have one of your Death Rider boys, including your daddy John, do it? This is where Willie Yuta sarcastically probably respond like, "Ha ha!" Like, thank you for the compliments, Mister Switchblade. This is where then we got Switchblade grabs him by his beard when he got in the ring. This is where he tried. This is where he got both his hands and slaps his hand right off of his face. Is where then we got Willie Yuta to start going for a wrist lock. That's where we got Willie Yuta go for a wrist lock of his own. This is where Jay White go for a wrist lock right back. This is where we got. This is where Jay White then picks up Willie Yuta when he got back up, and he kicks him right. This is where he gets hit with a stinging knife edge chop, which I assume that's probably the number one spot on the night, with Gunther having his heavyweight out and pokes out his ball point, like to add the switchblade onto the list. But Jay White didn't care because this is where he started doing the bang bang up in the air. This is where he tried to go for an elbow drop. This is where he goes for a crossbody, but this is where he ends up getting hit right into the family jewels, which hopefully Yuta's already a husband and father, because like there's no going back. Like if you don't have the jewels to start the family, like yeah, you definitely need that. But this is where he gets hit with a knife edge chop right into the chest of the former Ring of Honor Pure Champion and current 1/3 of the AEW Trio Champion. Is where we got Jay White and hit some repeated knife edge chops right onto the youngest junior member of the Death Riders, which you would love to be a member of the group. It sounds
Can
good
you
up
have
here.
a phone? Can you
Huh?
have a phone?
Yeah, what?
Can you have my phone?
Oh yeah, you have your phone? Yeah, sure do.
Oh,
Yeah, here you go. You're welcome anytime. And yeah, anytime. And anyways, this is where we got Switchblade Jay White that got slammed back first right to the back. This is where then the referee. This is where then we got Willie Yuta start cussing out referee for doing his job by counting the count out, just like a certain final boss did. But he's like, I'm getting so damn tired of being referees rushing me like when I have a whole 20 damn minutes of this match. And this is where we got Willie Unum to grab onto the leg and put it on the steel frame on under the ring, like where it holds up the ring. This is where he stomped on the foot when he bounced right off the what they call it, the apron, and just landed right on his foot. He was like, and I believe that was a bother for Jay White. Like and why he couldn't really stand in most of the matches where Jay White tried to go for a knife-edge chop. I'm like, I feel so bad for this poor guy. But when looking at it in the booking side of things, Anthony Khan made one of the best AEW matches. But that's where the AEW matches and the show in general. But that's where we got Willie Yuta. That was like, oh, that's where Willie Yuta was like, yeah, like go and see me do more onto this leg. This is where Willie Yuta would start trying to rub something off his head. And that's where he started going for what they call a leg drop, like spin around right into Jay White's bad leg, like he's about like the spinning toe maneuver, like if it's like he's doing the figure four. This is where he grab him right into the. This is where then he grabbed Jay White, gone back in outside of the ring, got up and said this time in the upper left side, then started slamming that bad leg right onto the Barry's tombstone, because you know how tombstones feel like if you get hit, like whether it's your arm, leg, or face, or anywhere in the body, it's not going to be feeling good. That's how Jay White was when he was getting hit by Barry's tombstone, like right into the court. Yeah, rest in peace for probably a whole year of him being a goner, I guess you could say. But this is where we got Jay White, and this is where we brought him back in the ring. This is where we got the partial powerful force and all of professional wrestling, the picture-in-picture break. But once we got done with the adverts, after uh, one then Willie Yuta tried to attempt to go for a back suplex, Jay White was fighting for his life by an elbow strike right to the which he only got one good wheel. That's how Taz would put it as, because yeah, that was the case, because one like his left foot is not really working right ever since one then Willie Yuta bends it right into that what they call that metal part that holds up the ring. This is where Jay White managed to get Willie Yuta right into the top turnbuckles in the bottom left side. This is where we got Jay White going up on the top rope. This is where we got Jay White then gets stopped by Willie Yuta. This is where Yuta goes up into the middle ropes. This is where we got Jay White trying to go for a clothesline. This is where we got Jay White going for a suplex. This is where we got this is where the Jay White to try to go for an avalanche suplex, try to go for a third time as a charm because he was double cursed. He must have found it because this is where he found the clover right between the legs and right on top of the turnbuckle, right where Willie Yuta was just standing. This is where when he tried to go for a pin, this is where Yuta kicks out of the draped pin by the switchblade. This is where we got Jay White's like, what does it take? So when out of frustration, start going for knife edge chops repeatedly, start going for punches. This is where he started maintaining his number one spot, which I believe he wasn't for the rest of the night because we couldn't see no other men could have do it much more better than the Switchblade man. This is where Switchblade and try to go for a Uranagi slam, but this is where he gets hit with a rolling flip. This is where he try to go for a pin, but this is where we got Jay White then countered into a crucifix pin. This is where then Jay White tried to go for a Snapdragon Stew, but after what's his name, Willie Yuta kicked out of that. This is where Willie Yuta then hit the chop block, then hit the single-legged Boston Crab. This is where we got Jay White like, God, let go. This is where we got the what's the name of Jay White and grabs on, hang on to the ropes, right to the left side. This is where Paul Turner was like, guard, stop it. I can still count to 1, 2, 3. And once he got to 3, this is where Willie was like, all right, I'm let go. I have until the count of 5. I'm like, yeah, even though even if that's so, like that's true, like that doesn't mean that you hang on to it until the referee's about to count the fifth number of the alphabet. Like if I guess I could put it as in order to get off this word and this word and this word and Willie the man's let go for good this time is where we got what's his name. This is where we got Willie Uta goes for the Olympic slam, but he ends up getting denied with a kick out of 2.8, if I'm mistaken. And I was like, man, like that toxic brainwashing water is working on Willie Uta right now because if it was like a different kind of Willie Uta, even if it's a heel, like even as a heel, like he would still wouldn't be looking like if he's been controlled by some being. But this is where we got. What else happened is where we got. But this is where somehow Jay White got back on his feet. He intercepted out of any other strikes that Will Eater had from him. He hits him with the Blade Runner. This is where then we got fans start chanting one more time. I wish I was in attendance in this city of Huntsville because these are very awesome people for telling my boy Switchblade do it one more time. This is what like about to finish him off. This is where Claudio Castello comes in, attacks him with the. Oh no, what I'm talking about? He gets him with the Blade Runner. He did get the 1, 2, 3. Then he hits him with a step, about to hit him a second time, but it seemed like wasn't so lucky. This is where we got. This is where we got. But this is where we got John Moxley came in along with Claudio to start beating him up. I'm like, but the only one person they're missing is where's Pac? Like ain't he? But this is where. But this is where. But that's where luckily we got Jay White then gets that's where we got what's his name? That's where the radar superstar Cope and FTR's buddies, or should I call them in the trio's name of rated FTR. I was like, where the hell have y'all been? Like, did traffic stop you or something? Because where were y'all at when Jeff Jarrett was getting jumped by these guys? But it's where the This is where the Uncle Daxie X was trying to be the nice guy, but letting him know that they crossed the line by attacking his idol Ricky Morton, a 68-year-old man, yeah. And it's like and then and he's like, and you mentioned Dennis Condry's name, like, and I'm a mention him about this Saturday on Collision, like to dedicate our future match that we're gonna have. Like when we tag you on in a 6-man tag match, but it's not gonna be a normal 6-man tag. It's gonna be a Mid-South street fight match, I believe. I believe that's what he set a challenge to John Moxley's faction. That's what John Moxley said. You know what? You're on. And this is where it was confirmed by Anthony Khan that it will indeed be a six. It will be a 6-man Mid-South street fight. And who do you think is going to win this match? Let me know in the comments section right down below. That's a very tough decision right now. And I like the way they did the unpredictabilities right here, who could win this match on the 6-man tag. But I think it's going to lead up into for an AEW title shot. So I think why not could be the death. Why not could be not the death. Rated FTR. But this is where we got the recap of what happened between Mariah May and Tony Storm, which it's confirmed that will be indeed time as Tony Storm. And it's been confirmed that we will be seeing Tony Storm have what you have to say on the road for their match in their home country of Australia. But this is where we got. But this is where we got Renee Paquette and brought in, like, if anybody of all wrestlers, I should say the glamour, or should I say the de-glamour of Mariah May, because she is indeed the woman from hell, and literally. But that's where we got Mariah May. Well, it's great to be in Huntsville, like, or should I say you should but looking around here, maybe we should have changed the first letter, like to drop that H and put the C there. And that's where I was like, oh my gosh, I should have known that you're gonna say some. She's gonna use the insult, like even in the politest manner in wrestling, like. Like she got some nerves, like of saying that to a city like this that is very awesome when it comes to with the reactions of cool wrestlers. Like, like, but but yeah, like she has nerves to talk like that to them, considering like that, like what we see here in the building, like which we need a mirror to see who really is the Kunzville in wrestling. Well, we're not going to get into too much into that, but hopefully, but this is where it got Mariah Magden got angry about what Renee said, like when she was asking questions about Tony. That's where she was like Tony's not even real, and that's where she snatched the microphone off her hand. Which I was like, man, like push she, like and so I guess somebody then woke up in the right side of the bed, or then find somebody in the right side of the bed, or whatever. But anyways, this is where then Mariah May's like, you really want to play the role of Tony Storm? Like, okay, like why don't you play like the Tony Storm, like who gave her heart to a woman, like to use her like for her gold. Like and she was like no, like that's worse. Like how about we played? Why don't you play the Tony Storm? Who's the most memorable moment? Like was bleeding and crying like in my hands. This is where she was chuckling when she was saying this. That's why she was like, seriously, like, why don't you just play that Tony Storm who walked out of Wembley Stadium, like in Japan, like in Mexico, like because she couldn't touch me. This is where she started chuckling. I'm like, yeah, but the last time we saw her, like, was in the ring with you. She did touch you, but she was beating you into a bloody pulp. But despite that, you shocked and amazed all of us by still dethroning her. But that's where we got Mariah May was like yeah, yeah. That's where the Mariah May continue like you do whatever Tony Storm, but you can be whatever Tony Storm persona you want. Like the ending's gonna end the same. Like she was like, and I don't need the role play because if you're this good, like you don't change a damn thing. And this where then she then gave a very ugliest like facial expression I've ever seen. But that's why she reminds everybody that she is indeed the woman from hell, and she will always will be, and she will remind Tony for the rest of her time in her life or something like that. Yeah. This is where we got this is where we got Mariah May. Like, look now and never forget, like, this is your AEW Women's Champion. And I was like, yeah, like for now, but you never know what could happen down under, like when they'll go to Australia for AEW Grand Slam. But we're gonna wait and see. But let me know what your predictions are. Who's gonna win this? Do you think it's gonna be Tony or Mariah? But we're gonna have to wait and see who exactly gonna walk out as the champ. But this is where we got the guns. Then there was in a vignette because they're trying to get back into the squared circle, like in AEW. They're trying to be in that their their successful team, be a successful team like they once were of their former self. But they can turn that former into a potential and a future self. Like if they start impressively like getting to that path. And they even showed like where they were once were trios tag team champions with their leader of the Bang Bang game, which was with Jay White, and also being a tag team champion like themselves even before then. But that's where we got another match that was also announced right after this little training vignette, like with the guns, like looking very depressed of not being like the team that they once was. That's where the show like it was Samoa Joe and Hook, or was it Tachi or Shibata? No, it was Hook. It was Hook and Samoa Joe taking on Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian in a tag team match. And let me know, who do you think is going to win? Do you think it's going to be the team of this pairing between Joe and Hook, or do you think it's going to be the two halves, I should say, the two halves of the patriarchy that's gonna be in this match? Let me know in the comments. But this is where we got a little announcement that it will indeed be a triple threat match as well because it all started. I do have a triple threat matches because of Shane Taylor coming in and attacking the Undisputed Kingdom, but Daniel Garcia came in and helped him out. But like when they had a 6-man tag match with the returning Angelo Parker, by the way, this is where they showed some respect by sending them a handshake with Daniel Garcia saying, "Which one of you guys want to get a shot at the championship?" With Lee Moriarty saying he wants a shot at the championship. So Anthony Khan had a solution. It will be Kyle O'Reilly and both Lee and Moriarty going to go after Daniel Garcia for his TNT championship. But that's where then we got a little vignette also with the Hurt Syndicate, like when they showed, like when they defeated the Private Party for the tag team championship, what they hold around their waist, which MVP said, as much as we would like to celebrate and like to gloat on our victorious win for those AEW tag team, but we gotta want to give some props and give some what they call it, give some props to what's their names to the Private Party on their very impressive showing from last week's episode of Dynamite. And then they're more gladly be willing to give them a shot for those tag titles in the rematch, like anytime, any place, anywhere, basically. But they're letting them know that the results are going to remain the same, like what they last time they won the. But this way to show the schedules of AEW Dynamite. And one thing that caught me off guard is that AEW on February 11th on Dynamite will be landing on a Tuesday. And I was like, really? Like they're really gonna put it on a Tuesday? Like, and that's the same. And let's just say it's the same. It's gonna be the same day when the other company show is gonna be on. And it looks like I'm probably gonna have to do like a back-to-back review video. Like if like if I'm doing a podcast review video for that show. But let me know down in the comments down below. But this is where. But what do you think that we're gonna see a rematch between Private Party and the Hurt Syndicate down the line? Like perhaps Grand Slam could be the perfect place. Let me know down in the comments down below. But let's that's where we got to hype up with Don Callis with one of his Don Callis family members, which is Konosuke Takeshita, which is reigning as the international championship in AEW and the never open heavyweight champion and in New Japan Pro Wrestling. But that's where we got. That's where they show the replay with when the Don Callis family took out Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay, which I think that's a temporary move because how do we know if they permanently took him out, which we're going to probably figure that out like in the next few days. But this is where we got Claudio Castagnoli. They showed like when he took out Jeff Jarrett. Same with MJF doing the icing onto this brutal beatdown cake, I guess you could call it. But this is where we got Taya Valkyrie and Deanna Purrazzo then told the cameraman to come over to them because they got some plenty of things to say. This is where they're like moments from now, we're gonna witness Mercedes Moné like defend her TBS championship versus Yuka Sakazaki. This was like bleh. This was Deanna Purrazzo was like it could have been me against the CEO and it could, like more likely, it could have been me if it wasn't for that meddling and annoying Harley Cameron. And that's where then Ty Valkyrie refer to Harley Cameron, which I'm not sure if I should be saying this, but she kind of referencing by referring them as balloons or with sticking her balloons, which is their TITs that she was referring to, by saying like you're sticking them where it don't belong, like in this word then she said again, and this is where she was like, yeah, like she don't mind her business, like we're gonna be taking what we deserve, and then this word is like, and then this word is like, and you're gonna be long way to live, and then that's what we're gonna take out. Well, we're gonna take what we deserve by taking out Harley. So yeah, Harley, like now you're gonna be long, like gonna be you're gonna be long in debt when you mess with us insurance agents, ladies, or whatever you want to call her. It was like, so pay up your next payment next month, no, basically. It was like, so we're gonna see you this Saturday on Collision. I'm like, and if there's gonna be a match that's gonna be scheduled into this manner, like I wonder who's gonna be exactly the one that's gonna face the woman that could potentially face the CEO. Like if the CEO retains, which we all know it's not going to be an if, it's going to be a win, more likely, because we all know that it's going to be Harley that's probably going to be taking on the CEO herself. But let me tell you, this championship match is definitely going to get the golden trophy of the night, with the CEO Mercedes Moné taking on the nice but tough Yuka Sakazaki. And I gotta admit, this young small girl definitely knows her wrestling, because she just took the CEO herself like down and up into her limits. Like it's like it kind of reminds me of a match like you would probably see on Stardom or New Japan Pro Wrestling, and not because she's from there, like and she wrestled there, but it's because for the fact that it's the way like they that these wrestlers from Japan like just like they're definitely well educated in this industry. Like they know how to hit hard. They know what timing to hit the move, whether if it's a high flying or a powerhouse like maneuver or some strikeable maneuvers. They know how to. They know they know their pace of style, and when it comes to getting into those ropes in the squared circle. But it's where we got the match start off with with the Sakazaki to sort of try to go for a wrist lock on to the CEO, but this is where then Monet go for a foot right onto Sakazaki's counter. This is where she goes for a hammerlock like maneuver, but this is where we got Yuka then go for a headlock. This is where we got Yuka then gets countered by the CEO herself and go for a headlock on her own. This is where she was kneeling down so she can go for a headlock, go for a full strength control of a what they call the uh a full headlock control right into what they call the. But that's where she threw it right to the bottom course. This is where she ended up going for a shoulder tackle. And I was like, yeah, like I wonder who would have done that maneuver if they were in the match. But this is where then we got Yuka Sakazaki go for a kip up there. Like, you gotta take me down very easily. I was like, yeah, I gotta admit, like she's not easy to quit. And this is where I was stunned when she got right when she dodged out of the corner. This is where she goes to the top corner rope. This is where she knocks Mercedes right into the shoulder tackle. This is where she started mocking her with that dance that the CEO does, like when she does, like when she's celebrating or entering the ring, which I don't know how to do it because it's very difficult to do it, but I was like, talk about, and this is where I started cracking up. Like, talk about insult to injuries, like from Sakazaki for doing that. But this is where then we got going for a spinning roll, like wheelbarrow, like right into a pin. But this is where she gets a kick out, which I probably will give Matt Menard and Antonio Schiavone probably get silver trophy. Sorry for Brian Keith to give the bronze trophy because he only said one thing. And I'm gonna have to give Yuka Sakazaki the golden trophy of the night. But anyway, this is where we got her. This is where we got Monet and go for what they call an arm jack springboard like maneuver. This is where she gets in the right to the bottom corner side. This is where then we got. This is where then we got Taz and said some very accurate words about some of the I'll say the challengers of the CEO, saying they're just very jealous. I was like, yeah, perhaps so. But I'll say except for Yuka Sakazaki and maybe the other one that's not probably not going to be no longer there. That used to call them. They used to have a 3-letter nickname of her own, which I'm not sure if I should mention her by name. But there's also and it's like except for them and yeah, except for her and maybe who was it? Queen Aminata, yeah. Okay, Yuka Sakazaki and Quinn Aminat, they're probably the ones that are not jealous. They just probably just want to be TNT, not TNT, TBS, the female version of the TNT championship. They just want to genuinely be the championship. That's where we got Mercedes Menez. You really think that you're better than me and you think you're gonna dethrone me? Like, think again. That's where and this is where she threw it right back in the ring, but she ends up getting kicked right to the face. Or not the face, the side of her head, I think it was. But this is where then we got Yuka then going for the crossbody. This is where we got her trying to go for a crossbody, which used to be in the comeback maneuver, but not in 2025. That was like 2 years ago. But this is where we got Yuka Sakazaki acting like a 9-year-old girl that like if her parents told her that she cannot have ice cream for dinner with the CEO. They start mocking you like blah 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 blah. Like you cannot crossbody me. This where she hit her with a meteor, which I'm surprised that's not her signature maneuver ever since she started wrestling. But it's where that she was like, yeah, that's right. They don't call me that. They don't call me that for nothing. When Excalibur referred to her as her nickname and her full name, which is obviously the CEO Mercedes Moné. But this is where we got partial powerful force and all the professional wrestling. The commercial break was up. Is where then we got the CEO start marching around in the ring and start prancing around as well. They like, oh look, like I'm with the very own one and only Yuka Sakazaki. And she hit her face first right to the apron. That's where she throws her right back in the ring. That's where then we got. And I want to say that once they got done with the partial advert, like once even though the match is still going, that's where we got Yuka was starting repeated forearm strikes with the CEO start fighting right back with her strikes, then shoves her. This is where she gotta go for a kick right to Yuka's gut, but this is where she grabs it. This is where she needs her right to when she counter out. This is where she kicks right in the gut. This is where she tried to go for a power bomb, but unfortunately did not work this time. But let me tell you, it's gonna work the second time. She ends up getting hurt and wound up. Unfortunately for the CEO herself, that's where we got the nice. That's why we got the nice but. That's why we got the nice but tough small Japanese girl that went move out of the way. Like when the CEO went right to the upper right corner side. This is where Mercedes accidentally moved. I mean, missed her just by an inch when Yuka moved right out of the way. This where I was like, dang it, like I was about to say, like EO has nothing. Uh, But I don't have but I understand why I'm even saying that for. But it's a very catchy catchphrase on the SNA podcast. But that's where we got Yuka Sakazaki, then hit a springboard knees to the face. That's where she goes for her brainbuster. Sheer drop brainbuster her right into the middle of the ring. That's where she goes for a pin, but the CEO herself goes for the kick out. This is where we got Yuka try to go for a cross sliding close Larry when Mercedes was in what they called in a snapmare position, but it still get her denied and kick out at 2.3. That's where then Yuka was like, yeah, go figure. Like that was not even a finisher, let alone a signature. This is where she tried to go for suplex. Big mistake from Yuka, unfortunately for her. This is where we got, but fortunately for the CEO herself, Mercedes Moné go for her idol signature mover, and y'all know what that is, and that is the Three Amigos, which he's one of the wrestlers that can successfully do it next to that dirty guy that's in the other company with that dirty mustache of his that used to hang out with an eradicating women's wrestler that the CEO used to work with. But anyways, this is where we got. This is where the CEO wants that didn't work. This is where she tried to go for a pin, but it's where Yuka kicks out almost at the near second. This is where the CEO was like, "Come on!" Like this is where she started stomping over her like she's a 7-foot whale. Hopefully, she don't take offense to that. But this is where we got. But this word, like she was doing that, like going back and forth, like going right to the bottom right, of course, to the upper left side. This is where she started taunting the Huntsville clown, which that was very hilarious. Which I mean, who will not do that? Like, but this is where we got. But this is where we got a big elbow strike by Yuka. This is where starting elbow strikes. This is where she started bringing up the fight. Which yeah, she was letting the CEO have it, and this is where then Yuka then try to go for a suplex. But this is where then we got This is where we got her going for an avalanche suplex that made Mercedes back with looking like if it turned into like a human, I'll say probably a human Tootsie Roll, I guess you could say. Like, probably more softer than that, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, this is where did she try to go for this hammerlock spinning exploder face buster. This is where the CEO then cut out of it, hit her with a what's that called? What's that? My name maker. This is where Yuka then hit her with a thrust kick right into the face. This is where we got. This is where we got Yuka Sakazaki. Then went back where she came. And I was like, what is up with these with these guaranteed finishing maneuvers, especially from the CEO? Well, at first it was Yuka because Yuka hit her finisher, but once she tried to go for a pin, that's where she gets denied with a kick out at 2.9999999. That was my magical point away from me. I was like, yo, like damn, like I know that, I know that, like I knew this was gonna happen, but damn, like I did not know it was gonna be this close though. Like at the same time, like even though it was only a matter of time where it was gonna be a near fall because for obvious reasons, like if we're gonna be seeing this like match at Grand Slam, even though I'm not, like I understand why I'm making references if I'm making it kind of obvious, but this is where we got the CEO then try to hit like a stab, like her old version of a statement maker when it used to be called something else, when it used to be known as statement, but only in a different way when she was known by her other famous, iconic last name and a wrestling last name that's probably owned by the other company. But it's where like she tried to go for the locked in. This where we got it flip. She get flipped right over. That's where then we got Yuka Sakazaki kicks out of it. That's where the CEO tried to go for a closer. But Yuka goes for discus elbow to Mercedes. This is where she goes for a cartwheel flip. This is where she tried to take a page of her own playbook like she did to Deanna Perrazzo. But this is where the CEO herself was like, let me give you a reminder here when she gave her kick out as an answer by saying, like, I'm not Deanna. Like, even though I have nothing against her, but like, I'm not her. I'm not going to easily get pinned with the most devastating move in all of professional wrestling. But it's where then we go gets a German suplex. Like funny thing about her doing that, even though like even though she's not that Zach culture, but that's where then she goes for a springboard right into the top corner side, like turned into a frog splash. That's where we got Mercedes Moné countered into a knee to the midsection. Go for the what they call the was that an inside cradle? But this is where she kicked out of it. But this is where she's like, no man, I'm gonna pick her up and knee her right into the face. Is what she did. So she hits her with a gun with the envy list inspired power bomb, or the master of the envy list, I should say, inspired power bomb. Like she slammed her into a power bomb like the guy that usually be envious when you see other guys hitting them knife edge chops, which that his signature maneuver, and he thinks that's the mockery they were doing. But this is where we got, Monet and go for her finishing maneuver, well, the Monet maker, I should have just stated. And she got the 1, 2, 3 and still your TBS champion, the CEO herself, Mercedes Monet, and give her a humongous congratulations on to that. And that's how it ended with her doing a mini celebration of her latest title defense. That was very successful, by the way, obviously. Needless to say, I guess you could say. But yeah, but I guess it confirms it. Like that means that we could be seeing the woman that makes all her victims feel the wrath, even though she haven't won the match yet. At least not yet. But the Saturday could be a game changer because considering that Harley Cameron do have her match against Deanna Perrazzo or Taya Valkyrie, whatever who it may be. Like, and this is where she can work her way up of getting a shot at the TBS championship with the CEO herself, and they can have somewhat of, I guess some of y'all could say dream match, but I'll say more likely like that should be main event worthy. If I'm not mistaken, I might kind of sound like a biased idiot for saying this, but you just like they just are very entertaining to the point like they would not be a bother if they even did main event a pay per view for this particular championship or even the AEW Women's World Championship, which if it wasn't held by Mariah May or even Mariah May, like, I would say, I would not mind neither of these ladies holding on to these championships. But yeah, you gotta admit, like this rivalry is gonna be very much entertaining. It's gonna be so grandly fantastic. And I know I use the fantastic word maybe a bit too often. I try to change it up when it comes to cool complimentary words, but these are the ones I can think of right now. But yeah, this was a totally terrific show. Like, and Anthony Khan, yeah, did a very terrific job. He made Super Ninja Austin 100% happy of booking this. Like with the likes of Jay White and also what's his name. With Jay White and Mercedes Moné and even MJF making appearances. The only thing I was kind of bummed out of is what their Max Caster wasn't there. But yeah, we did got some pretty good solid matches. Like yeah, with even Claudio Casanova against Jeff Jarrett, like with them showing like Jeff Jarrett's, like he will get the AEW championship opportunity, but only when that time comes. Like, but this won't be the last time he will get the opportunity, which there are probably going to be hundreds, if not thousands, of ones that we can be expecting in the next years of his final run in AEW and his final run in professional wrestling as well. And could you see Jeff Jarrett as AEW World Champion? Let me know in the comments. And I think everything, like, even though I didn't expect none of this, I thought Jeff Jarrett and Claudio Casanova was going to close out the show. Like, this was a complete shocker, like, from AEW. Like I think, and to be honest, like, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is the first time that the CEO, Mercedes Moné, main evented AEW Dynamite. But, yeah, this was super awesome, and hopefully we'll be seeing plenty of more stuff like this, and it shows that that they're improving like with every divisions, like whether it's tag team and women's and even the men's division starting to get more better and better. Like even with John Moxley's getting very convincing as a heel, like you just cannot stand the guy. Like he's playing this character so good to the point that you're gonna you could probably actually ask yourself, is this guy really like this in real life? But even though he obviously not, like I get like all the stuff I say about him drinking this toxic stuff with Cincinnati, like yeah, don't take it all seriously. Like it's all part of me being me. But yeah, Anthony Khan made me happy and proud, and I hope that we will be seeing more great matches like this. And the best part, we didn't see no bitch man. It's a miracle. Somebody give me a hallelujah. Give me an amen. Amen. No more bitch man, well, at least for now. But yeah, like I think Anthony Khan made this is probably the best AEW. Like probably gonna be saying I'm crazy for saying this, and this is probably a bold claim right here from your boy, the Super Ninja Assassin. But I think this is the best, if not the greatest, number one AEW Dynamite of 2025. I have to agree on that. Yeah. And this is why it's going to get not just the five perfect five golden stars, but the 10 platinum stars. I'm giving it 10 platinum stars, even though it's maybe a bit too much, but it was exactly what it needed to be with the future teasers of an AEW showdown. I know, look, some of y'all probably think MJF and Jeff Jarrett's like should not be feuding, but come on, like it could be beneficial for both men, like to get back on to the title scene. But we'll probably be seeing, we could see that MJF could go first, like with him getting over with Jeff Jarrett, putting him over, and then going after for the AEW championship and stuff like that. Like, and we can see Jeff Jarrett could be feuding with somebody in the meantime, like whoever the top heel is on AEW, and like I cannot wait to see like the tag team matches between the Outrunners against the Furniture. Y'all already know I'm a huge fan of both of these guys as well. Even though some of y'all probably say, but y'all you couldn't be a fan of both of them because one of two of them are heels while the other is a baby face. Well, it don't matter who should I choose from? Like I just like to see like if there's any of these fan favorite wrestlers like that are also that I'm a fan of. Like I would like to see them on the front of my TV screen. Yeah. And I'll say the same goes to yeah, like I'm a huge fan of them, and the same goes with the CEO herself, Mercedes Moné. She did a super terrific job with her TBS Championship defense, and hopefully that she'll main event more matches in AEW, even Collision as well, like along with Dynamite. And also, and I would like to see the idea of the rated R superstar Adam Cope, or Cope, just Cope. I just say Cope the Yope, which Jericho would call him the Dope, which I understand why he would. But I'm just keep it like it is. But yeah, like Cope, radar superstar Cope, possibly gonna get a shot at John Moxley. But not only that, he's gonna be in a dream match with John Moxley himself, the final Shield member that he faced in his return from his neck injury. Like that almost lasted for a decade. But yeah, we're gonna be seeing all that like unfold, and hopefully we will be seeing all that. Like hopefully we'll see all these dream matches and matches like this. Hopefully we'll see and those are probably gonna be my 3 matches of AEW Grand Slam. Well, I would say not much of too much of a favorite with Jeff Jarrett between him and and MJF. But I'm saying like if you're gonna bring him, like you're gonna get him over as a fan favorite and stuff, and seeing him to be an intriguing like champion, like before he hangs up his boots for good. Like they're doing a really super good job, like putting him in a feud with someone like with MJF. Some might criticize it like the way they talk on the promo is not exactly like living up the heights that it should be. But like it like I don't know what to say about that. Like it sounds like somebody like that thinks they know something, like they know the absolute least. Like yeah, it sounds like a know-it-all if you ask me. Like someone that pretends to know everything, but they don't even know like even the simple thing about it. Like if you ask me, like yeah. So, in my opinion, it don't matter like how good their promos are. Like as long as it's gonna bring some entertainment, bring some entertainment, and it's gonna bring some personal things into the matter. Like whether if it's their past, like with Jeff Jarrett making fun of him being no longer AEW champion, or about his mother being sell you all, and then with and with MJF like making fun of Jeff Jarrett used to own TNA, and yet like he had to sell it like, to sell it to somebody else, like, but and stuff like that, and he's gonna probably beg back as soon as he gets through with him, like because he's defying the devil, like, and he should have obeyed and made a deal with him because he would be benefiting off of it. But the one thing you don't want to do is, like they say in church, like never make a deal with the devil. Like all those Christians say, like, and I agree with that. Like, I think like you can still get all that success and all that rewarding stuff, even with the honesty, but in the good stuff, for a lifetime, without being for borrowed time, if that's the case. But that's a different video for a different day when I say that. But yeah, but my point is, yeah, platinum 10 stars for AEW Dynamite tonight. And some of y'all probably will be disagreeing with me. And some of y'all probably say, like, boo, like you're just saying that because they actually gave you what you. And I'll tell you, and also that Will Ospreay match, silver trophy as well of the night, and had me well intrigued. Like with someone like Will Ospreay being also another favorite wrestler of mine in AEW, like again, doing some super terrific stuff there, and hopefully he does indeed be AEW World Champion. And when that day comes, which that could be between by the end of 2025, maybe 200 or beginning of 2026, whenever that day is right for him. But yeah, like I hope y'all enjoyed AEW Dynamite tonight as well, and I hope y'all enjoyed the video. And if so, please make sure that hit the big thumbs up button, considering hit the subscribe and the post notification bell for more SNA content. And also, like, do you think 10 platinum stars is too much, or do you think there's perfectly enough? Like, I wish I could do a poll. I should do a poll. You know what? I'm gonna do a poll. Like as soon as I get done with this video, I'm gonna post a poll on my YouTube channel by saying like, do you think that AEW Dynamite on January 29th like deserves 10 platinum star, or do you think it just should deserve 5 generic golden stars? But yeah, I'm gonna do that later on. I know I kind of sound like a biased dreadlock a-hole for doing this, but it's super. But the show is super great. Like with everybody being featured on the show, like even that are not featured in matches, like they were they still were featured on segments, and they showed how like the excellence whatever it's like excellence of a match they wrestled in, like the Hurt Syndicate with them being absolutely proud of themselves, even though that's kind of selfish of them. But they also did gave up some credit when credit was due to the former tag team champions of Private Party. And I sure hope that they do get a rematch for those tag team titles. And if not, then what was the whole fucking point of them getting this, at the titles? Yeah, and what the whole fucking point of them losing the titles only just for them to not get a shot at them again. But we're gonna end today's review video on this high positive note, and make sure to check out my football news video tomorrow afternoon, where I'm gonna be talking about the wildest and intriguing football news stories and transfers that you assassinated need to know the returning of the Yahoo Sports article, and make sure to stay tuned for that. And I will be seeing you guys again, and hopefully and I hope you assassinators have a wonderful and a safe, phenomenal night. And I only to say one more time to my boy, the AEW president and CEO himself, Anthony Khan, for booking a very super phenomenal show that he did. And hopefully there's going to be many more to come in 2025. And I will see you all. See you on the next video with some more SNA content. Until we meet again, Super Ninja Austin out of here. Bye bye, my assassinators. Y'all take care and have a super awesome Wednesday night for the rest of your night, of course, and for Thursday, have an awesome Thursday as well. When I say it again when I do the football video, but yeah, goodbye for now, and see you guys again soon.